It is Monday, December 7th, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. We've been going through the book of Galatians. Again, the theme of Galatians is basically grace plus nothing. This is the gospel. You're saved by grace plus nothing. If you add something to the gospel, it is no longer the gospel. It's something else. Now, with that being said, this question comes up often in the Christian life. What then about the law? If we're saved by grace alone, by God's unmerited favor, not based on anything we do, then how does the law apply to the Christian now that we're not under the law anymore? As Paul says in Romans, does that mean the law doesn't apply to us at all? Which is what some teach, but I think it's erroneous. I will say that. It's kind of like saying the Ten Commandments no longer apply, right? So that would mean, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength, and mind. No longer applies somehow. That's a ridiculous argument. So clearly, let's pick it up here in verse 23. We're reviewing some of the stuff we went over last week, but Galatians 3:23. Now before faith came, by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone. Before faith came, we were held captive under the law, imprisoned until the coming faith would be revealed. So the law imprisoned us in the sense that it showed us we were sinners, we were law breakers, we couldn't keep the law to be saved, right? If the law had been given that could give life, then righteousness would indeed be by the law, he said back in verse 21. So then the law was our guardian until Christ came in order that we might be justified by faith. There again is the theme all throughout the entire Bible regarding salvation. The just shall live by faith. You'll be declared not guilty. You'll be justified before God by faith alone in what Christ has done. For in Christ Jesus you are all sons of God through faith. So basically, you can live your Christian life one of two ways, it's been said. You can live your life in order to be a son or daughter, or you can live your life because you are a son or daughter. And a lot of us really fall back into the works mentality. We fall back into works righteousness, and we live as if we want God to accept us to be a son or daughter, when we should live from the standpoint that we've been made a son or daughter, and that's irrevocable. That will never, ever, ever change. Dane Cook, not Dane Cook, he's a comedian, brother. Dane Ortland, I'm confusing my Danes, but Dane Ortland, not Dane Cook, didn't say this. If he did, there's been a dramatic change in his life. But Dane Ortland, and maybe Dane, congratulations if that's been the case. But Dane Ortland, who wrote the book Gentle and Lowly, uses this example about being a son or daughter. So imagine you have a son in a family, and all of a sudden his parents start noticing his odd behavior. His father notices all of a sudden one day he just, scrubs the kitchen, every place spotless, and then the next time he's watching his dad so carefully, trying to imitate everything his dad does. And his dad then a couple other things. We can give a couple other examples, right? But his father asked him, "Son, what's with your behavior?" He's like, "Well, I'm trying to earn my place in this family. I want to be worthy of being in this family." No kid acts like that. And if they did, their parent would be like, you can't earn your place in this family. You were born into this family. You have a place in this family, right? And you could even say it in the human sense. Well, you could say from the standpoint of a human family, it was God ordained for you to be part of this family. God put you in this family. It's the same thing here, that we have now, in Christ Jesus, we're all sons and daughters of God through faith. So again, that's irrevocable. That's who we are. So we don't live our lives from a standpoint of trying to be a son or daughter. We live our Christian lives from the standpoint of being a son or daughter. Now, what about the law? Well, again, we're not judged by the law, right? There's no condemnation. Who will bring any charge? Even the law. The law can't bring a charge against us because we're in Christ. But the law does serve as an expression of our love for God. if we're living from the standpoint of being God's sons and daughters, then we want to express that by doing his will. And we find his will in his law. So when Christians say the law doesn't apply anymore, maybe they're meaning in the sense, well, it certainly doesn't bring us our salvation. It certainly doesn't make us more righteous before God. It doesn't make us any more well accepted before God. But what it does is gives us an expression, a vehicle to express our love to the God who saved us. And what has God said to you?